Hello and welcome to the Irish Aesthete. Previously I've been looking at various types of follies that became fashionable and popular during the 18th century. Today I want to look at another kind of folly that really came into its own in the 19th century, namely the round tower. Now round towers were nothing new in Ireland. They'd been built throughout the country, usually attached to monasteries, during the early medieval period. But these 19th century towers are different and owe more to the later Middle Ages, to the High Gothic period, suggesting a secular rather than religious origin. Imagine slimmer versions of Moorestown Castle, County Tipperary, a building thought to date from the 16th century. These later versions reflect a romantic concept of medieval history and on occasion a desire by the people responsible for their construction to manufacture for themselves an older pedigree than they actually had. In effect, these tower follies are miniaturized versions of the castles that many landowners commissioned from the early 1800s onwards, such as Castle Bernard in County Cork. Let's look at a few examples so you can see this for yourself. We'll begin in County Tipperary. This tower can be found at Killeoran, once part of an estate with the main house, now in poor condition, located a few hundred yards away, so that the tower would have been visible from the house's windows. Rising 3 stories to a castellated turret, the tower is believed to date from the 1860s and would therefore have been constructed by the estate's owner at the time, Solomon Lawler Canby. The interior divisions are long gone, but originally the ground floor would have been accessed through a doorway, while those above were reached after ascending a flight of stone steps. Presumably there was a viewing platform at the top. Built of roughly dressed rubble limestone, it's a sturdy structure and could well be restored, I think, as a holiday home, although the close proximity of a large number of wind turbines today is likely to act as a deterrent for anyone who might think of such an undertaking. The tower at Killeoran, as with many other follies, was intended as a destination for the people living in the main house whenever they and their guests fancied a bit of a walk. The same is true of the tower at Bali, County Leash. Built for the Coote family, it dates from the mid-19th century and is believed to have been completed around 1861. As with Killeoran, the tower is intentionally located on high ground so as to command views for many miles around. As it rises 6 stories and has a viewing platform at the top, the tower could also be seen from a great distance. And as if to underline the yearning for association with a distant past, the tower is surrounded with fake ruins, carefully placed tumbling castellated walls that suggest this building was once part of a much larger defensive structure. Some towers more clearly show their medieval inspiration than do others. Here is one at Moonveigh or Moneyveig in County Louth, which looks like the surviving outpost of a once substantial castle. It was erected by Sir Patrick Bellew, member of an ancient Anglo-Norman family which, despite the penal laws, had managed to retain both its Roman Catholic faith and the lands of its forebears. Sir Patrick was among the first Catholics elected to Parliament after emancipation in 1829, and this tower was erected on the site of an old windmill to mark one of those occasions. A spiral staircase inside leads to the top, where a visitor would have had superlative views across Dundalk Harbour towards the distant Cooley and Mourne mountains. The opportunity to admire the view, and in certain instances to observe the full extent of a landowner's estate, seems to have been an important factor in the construction of these towers. That certainly was the case with the Tower of Lloyd in County Meath. Looking rather like a lighthouse after the tide has considerably receded, the tower dates from 1791, making it earlier than the other examples we've been looking at. Rising 100 feet and with 164 steps to its summit, the tower was designed by architect Henry Aaron Baker. It was commissioned by Thomas Taylor, 1st Earl of Bective, perhaps in memory of his father, but the octagonal lantern at the top served as a signalling station during times of unrest. The tower also held a viewing platform from which could be seen much of the surrounding landscape, then owned by the Taylor family. The name of the site, incidentally, derives from a Colonel Thomas Lloyd who, during the Williamite Wars of the late 17th century, encamped on the hill here with a number of soldiers. And there we will leave the subject for the present. Thank you so much for watching the Irish Aesthete, and do tell your friends about this channel. I look forward to seeing you here again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe everybody. Goodbye.